everyone.
Good morning.
Everyone, please silence your cell phones. We can turn to the front of our hymnals, and we'll begin with the Unity Statement of Being. There is one presence and one power in this church, in our lives, and in the universe. God, the good, omnipotent. And now the 5 unity principles. Number 1, God is absolute good, everywhere present. 2, God lives in us, therefore we are inherently good. 3, we are co-creators with God and create our experiences through our thoughts. 4, prayer is creative thinking that heightens our connection with God and mind. And 5, it is not enough to simply know these principles, we must live the truth we know. And now, together, we'll sing the Lord's Prayer on page 2 of your hymnal. I believe we're waiting for music. We can move on. We're going to go ahead and introduce our speaker for today. We are so excited to have Reverend Angela Davis here at Unity of New Orleans. Originally ordained with the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christian Family Ministry, Reverend Angela is also currently in seminary with Unity Worldwide Ministries, attending the Unity Urban Ministerial School, where she will soon be graduating from. We are also very excited that Reverend Angela is completing her 6-month internship right here at Unity of New Orleans. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Angela Davis.
Introduce
reason why many of you are feeling wonderful today. So our lesson today is about no bad parts. So this man, he went to see his therapist, and he said, you know what, I've got a real problem. The therapist raised his eyebrows and said, well, what's going on? And he said, well, 1 minute I'm happy, I'm laughing, and I'm having loads of fun, and everything is wonderful. And I don't know what to do about it because the next minute I'm filled with rage. What's wrong with me? How come I act like this? How come I just can't have control of myself and speak and do the things I want to do without all of this drama? The therapist arched his eyebrows again and said, well, it sounds to me like you're human. So today, we're going to explore an incredible teaching from Richard Schwartz's book called No Bad Parts. And I actually didn't bring the book, I brought the children's book. Because the children's book is so much easier to read and understand and put it to work in your lives. So this is one of the books, well, not this book, but No Bad Parts is one of the books that we studied at UUMS this couple of semesters ago. But it was such a powerful lesson, I thought I'd bring it home to all of you guys. So, you know how when you're having those experiences and those feelings and those emotions, and you just go, yes! Right? You know what I'm talking about. Those things that really wow us and get us charged up. And sometimes we don't even know why we do that. We're just like, well, it's just the way I am. Actually, these parts conflict with each other and cause tension within us because it's how we were raised. Part of what happened when we were growing up was we learned how to handle things by what was going on, and these parts would show up. And I thought, you know what? This week coming up is Thanksgiving. And I promised to give you tools on how to be a miracle worker the last time I spoke. And so I want to make sure you have some really, really good tools because your family's going to be coming to visit, or you're going to be going to visit your family, or you're going to be by yourself, or whatever it is that you do on Thanksgiving or with your friends. The thing is, I want you to be able to understand your parts and what they're doing and why. These parts like to dominate. Have you noticed? They like to show up, sometimes in some of the most inopportune moments. You know what I'm talking about. But here's the good news. None of these parts are bad. Even the parts that we think cause problems are trying to help us in some way. When we learn to understand and integrate these parts, then we can transform our inner dialogue, and ultimately, we can transform the world. Because the more we know about what's going on inside of ourselves, the better opportunities we have to have insights and to be able to respond differently. But the body does not consist of one member, but of many. That verse comes from 1 Corinthians 12:14. There you got it. All these different members of the body. Myrtle Fillmore said, look within yourself to the Christ mind within, for the light that will flood your soul and enable you to see yourself and your affairs in right relationship to God and to your fellow human beings. And isn't that what we all want? We want people to treat us right. Isn't that correct? And we want to be able to treat others correctly. And there's no better way of doing that than understanding what's going on inside ourselves. I'd like to illustrate here just for a moment what happens when our emotions get charged up. And I have my teacher to thank for this. She explained how she got into a conversation with her 3-year-old, and suddenly she felt herself feeling this way. And it just went up her spirit, and she learned to do something differently. The moment she realized she was raging inside, instead of checking that child and doing something else, she learned to take a moment to blow out the emotion she was having. Not to get rid of it, just to take pause with herself, to understand that this emotion was wanting to teach her something, to share something with her. But the only way we can learn what it is that needs to be shared is by pausing and taking a break, taking a big, deep breath. And once we take that breath, then we can be more present to where we are. We can stop, look around, we can see what's going on in our world and realize, like my teacher, this little 3-year-old needed her attention, not her anger. And there are people that you may meet this Thanksgiving that may bring out all kinds of emotions in us. So my charge here today is to help each one of us to be able to recognize those parts that are going on in other people, just like they go on in us sometimes. You know, when those flames rise in us, when that anger and fear takes over in a heated moment, we don't have to let it run wild. We just take a step back and acknowledge it. And what if, instead of letting that flame burn uncontrollably, we could recognize it, we could honor it, because it's here to teach us something. That's why it keeps showing up. And then safely extinguish it. The flame represents that part of us that feels unheard and misunderstood. It's probably saying something like, how many times do I have to act like this before you get it? That I'm trying to tell you something. I'm really trying to explain something to you. And so with this awareness, we can keep fires that start in ourselves from spreading outward to every part of our lives. Sometimes in an effort to accomplish that which we feel we must do, that we are unfair to our body, sometimes it's just a moment to call a halt. Enough already. And you don't have to wait until the moment where you've hit the roof. I tell a story where the father is always hitting the roof. He doesn't have to hit the roof with his emotions. He can take a deep breath and come back to this moment. This is the same with our emotions. When we don't recognize and care for our parts, they flare up like that match, demanding our attention, but usually we're busy doing other things. We can't stop sometimes in the moment, but I want you to put a marker right there on your behavior. Take the deep breath and then deal with whatever is happening for you in that moment. I want you to consider the story of Cain and Abel in Genesis 4. Cain became so overwhelmed with jealousy and anger when his offering wasn't favored by God. That's what he felt, that's what he learned, that's what he heard from his caretakers. And he allowed that emotion to dominate his actions. God even warns Cain, saying, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. That comes from Genesis 4 and 7. Metaphysically, the verse, sin is crouching at your door, is the desire to have you. Simply understand the symbolism involved. That there's this ever-present challenge of negative thought, emotions, or lower impulses that seek to dominate our consciousness. Sin represents any sense of separation from our divine nature. It's just an error in thought in the moment. Crouching suggests that these impulses are subtle, but they're persistent. Ruling over it calls for the conscious mind to be vigilant and to assert spiritual mastery over our base desires. And we all have this power. We all have this ability to choose higher truths and actions that align with purpose instead of reacting impulsively. I've learned, and I've been teaching my 12 and 15-year-old grandchildren, that hey, when you're having a problem and you're really upset, just stop and breathe. Breathe deeply. And then I teach them that there's a power greater that we can go within and access and tap into. And we can ask for what we want instead. What is it you really want to experience in the moment? And most of us, if we look in our minds and our hearts, will see that what we really want is that deep connection. We really want to be understood. We want to understand other people. And if you look around the planet, that's what most people want. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. They want to be loved. Now, I do want to show you a little bit more about these parts here. Now, here we have attachment, fight, submit, flight, and freeze. These are all emotions that we experience at different times of our lives. We're talking to somebody and we want to run away. That ever happened to you? And in your head, what do you say? I wish they'd stop talking. Right? We all have these emotions and feelings. They're genuine. They are ours. And sometimes they're a little hard to talk about, even up here. And I get a little warm. I need to just cool off a little bit. Take a breath myself. There are others here. This is how we learn how to protect ourselves. And when we're learning, these are the same ones, but when we're learning how to protect ourselves, we begin to see the patterns that keep arising in us. And when you're at the Thanksgiving dinner, they're all hiding under the table. Yours and everybody else's parts. Nobody wants to really let their parts come out, but the parts can't help but peek out. They show up, they show out, and they start saying and doing things, especially if we feel a bit triggered. But the wonderful thing, the other thing I need to tell you, is that there's some parts of you you don't even know about. They're hidden. They're called exiles. They're parts like the abandoned infant, the lonely child, the angry teenager, the terrified toddler, the hungry baby. All of those parts inside of us. And the whole reason for really coming to unity and living out the unity principles in our lives is to put this work into action. So I've taught kids most of the time, most of my life, but I've also taught adults. And so I try to just make things simple. I make them simple so anybody hearing them can understand what I'm saying. Because imagine if Cain had knew all of this, and he had time to pause. Maybe his life would have been entirely different. This story illustrates how quickly things can happen. We're going along in our lives, and today we're reminded that we must be taught by God what is truth. We have to be taught tolerance, universality, and spirituality. We are not spiritual in our manifestation until we put our spiritual consciousness into that manifestation. Now we can recognize that we're being educated and that that great teacher is God. So every moment that a part shows up is an opportunity for us. Now Charles Fillmore didn't say every moment is an opportunity, but that statement I just said, I shared with you, is one of the things that he said. Now, I do want to share with you a little bit more, and I added the 12 powers in here because we do have a bunch of hidden parts. But when we start to make peace with ourselves, when we start to make peace with these parts, what happens to the self is our true self comes forward. After taking that deep breath, and we can actually ask God in that moment, okay, what is it I really want to say, God? And how can I speak from my heart? Lead with your heart, whatever it is you want to say to the person in your life. Come from your heart, because when you're coming from your heart, people are going to feel that. They're going to know that you're meaning well. They're going to see it in your behavior and how you're holding yourself. Because everything we're doing and saying speaks volumes. And sometimes what we're doing and saying brings out some of the things we don't want to see in others, let alone ourselves. And they escalate out of proportion. But this Thanksgiving, I'm knowing and blessing and understanding that everyone is going to have tolerance and patience, not only for yourself, but for each other. Because you've got all these additional parts, like love and being able to come from your heart, like power, like strength, like release and faith, imagination, order, will, zeal, understanding. And then there's more. There's calm, there's curiosity, there's connectedness, there's compassion, there's courage, there's clarity, and there's creativity. All of those things are swirling in you just like it does in the universe. And you know the universe is always moving around and swirling around us. So when you see Uncle Joe or Aunt Loretta or whoever shows up at the Thanksgiving dinner, remember that yourself is always in charge. Yourself is large and in charge because that's where the divine presence that is in you lives. And what better way to love people than to let that love from our hearts, from inside of us, go out into the world. And then everyone is accepted. Everyone is allowed to be themselves. And when you ask God, you never know what thoughts are going to come to you to resolve whatever's going on in the moment. You get to feel differently if you choose to. So I have this little exercise that I want you to do. Close your eyes and go ahead and take a deep breath. And you know what? We'll just include this part of the exercise in our meditation going forward. Take a deep breath and bring to mind a situation in your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's a recurring conflict with a loved one or a self-limiting belief that you just can't seem to shake. And once you have this situation in your mind, ask yourself, what part of me is involved in this dynamic? What part do I need to know? And deepen into divine source even more. Allow the answer to surface without judgment. And even the reason. See the Christ in you welcoming all parts of you. Feel yourself accepting who Instead of pushing the part away, see if you can welcome it. And thank it for trying to help, even if somehow its approach isn't right. By recognizing your part, you've begun the process of healing and integration. And moving forward, you understand that you have strengths, all kinds of powers, to take you through any situation in your life. See each part being integrated and accepted. And try to stay in this space of deep meditation and love as my helpers come forward. And they're going to be handing you a candle with a little card that you're able to stick your card into. As you get your candles, turn and light someone else's wick. Be sure to give them a little card. Don't have a light, raise your candle so someone can see you need a light. This holiday season as we live in gratitude and come from a place of joy and love. I apologize, I'm not electronically proficient, and I had it ready to go, but it chose to play something else instead, and it's still trying to play that something else. So I'm going to try this again, and just know that that divine presence within me has this all in hand, and it's all perfect, just like I practice.
Position. I'm frustrated, and it's not what I signed up for.
He kind of sounds like me, because I'm not quite sure how to get this done. But this sounds to me like I need to find another way to get this done so that you guys aren't disappointed like I feel right now. And I will try this one more time.
Choosing not to participate. I got in this to help people get well.
I have the words, so I'm going to just not do that with the music, but I wanted you to hear it because she sounds so beautiful and she sings it. So here we go. I am light. 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 And if you would just close your eyes, hold your candle, but be mindful of it. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. You have it? Okay. Someone found it for me. Thank you for saving me.
Really like your voice.
Yeah. Take another deep breath. And know that you are that divine essence that God is. And you have the power in your life today to create and have anything you want, you desire, including peace on the planet, joy in your life. And this Thanksgiving season, may you have the best holiday ever that you've ever had. And may you know that there's that light in you that created it today. God bless you.
Thank you so very much. That was beautiful, wasn't it? Thank you. And now it is time for our tithes and offerings. We'll say the abundance blessing. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. It is in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. It is so now. It's time for our announcements. Electronic giving is at the front desk in the lobby. Just scan the QR code. Copies of today's service are available on CD at the front desk. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook. Next Sunday, December 1st, Reverend Fleming will be delivering a Sunday message. See Thursday's newsletter for details. Unity of New Orleans will be hosting a grief support group on the third Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. See the Thursday newsletter for more details. On December 15th, following the Sunday service, we will be hosting a Christmas luncheon. Again, please see the newsletter for more details. Is everyone signed up for the newsletter? You should be, with so many great things going on. If you're not, you can see the front desk and scan the QR code to sign up electronically, or you can also manually fill out a card if you don't know how to scan the QR code. Are there any new visitors who would like to say hello? Yes. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Pat Jolly. I used to come a long time ago when Ruth was the pastor here.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you're here. Prayer chaplains. Oh, sorry. Yes. Hi.
Hi, I'm Peggy. I belong to Unity in Houston, and my brother belongs to Unity here.
Wonderful. We're glad you're here. Prayer chaplains are available after the service. Our chaplains will participate with you in prayer and in total confidentiality. It only takes a few minutes if you're interested. They will be in the front of the altar, and please, oh, I'm sorry, yes ma'am. Hello.
Would everybody please pray for Hortense Langs, a longtime parishioner in the hospital?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. So please honor the sacred space in the sanctuary and reserve any after-service conversations and fellowship for the lobby or family room. My name is Shanti, and I serve here as a prayer chaplain, a platform speaker, and I also help with the youth education ministry. And if anyone who isn't already involved in service here, if you're interested, please let me know. We'd love to have you sign up to be in service. It's really a good thing to do. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. The Lord watches between me and thee.